So this weekend, or excuse me, yesterday, I was driving around picking up sleeping bags from people that had so generously offered old sleeping bags and upgrade their bags to try to help me get 100 bags to give to the homeless. And while that may be an ambitious number, because I'm learning that there's a number of organizations locally that are doing similar drives, and even there's a guy who posts on Craigslist trying to get sleeping bags. So it's like, well, I don't want to compete with others who are trying to get sleeping bags, so maybe the number is less important. But I ran into Jillian as she donated a sleeping bag, and she had just watched Zeitgeist 3, and was very much appreciative of the opportunity to do something of good. And I think that sometimes we get so overwhelmed with the fact that the world is not as we think it should be, that it's hard to even figure out, well, how can I be the change? How can I, live like Gandhi, right? But it doesn't have to be quite so dramatic. I think be the change is also moving in the direction that you feel to be alignment. So maybe it's giving a sleeping bag. That is no less significant than, Bill Gates donating $1 gazillion. In the mathematics of the universe, you are simply in the direction of alignment, being the change that you wish to see in the world, or you are moving against that alignment. You are obstructing that alignment in some way. And so that's, I think, an easy way to slip, or to really embrace be the change, is to think small, very small. Smile at somebody. Look someone in the eye when they give you change. I mean, that's the kind of change I want to see in the world, right? I want people to connect more. So, for me, I'm saying this for myself because I got really overwhelmed recently in thinking that the change that the world needed was just way too much. And if you start thinking that way, it gets easy to slip into that pattern of selfishness and survivor instincts, which we think is smart because it'll help us survive. But what it actually does is creates this huge division between us and the world. And that is the most stressful place to be, to think that you are separate. Then you're constantly fighting. But when you simply acknowledge you are of the world, and you do your little part to be the change in the world, well then, all of a sudden you're on the raft. You're on the raft that's in the flow. And you start to feel the impact and feel the momentum of everyone else that is also being little changes, little changes, little changes. And then pretty soon, without trying really hard, you may find you're making big changes. Or you may have no idea how big or small the change is. The point is that you're in the direction of the flow. You're being the change. And I think that, for me, this kind of weekly recalibration reminds me of that possibility. And it reminds me that we do have a big raft. And it's not just each of us solo getting whirled down the river. Be the change.